Hi there, I'm Andrew and welcome to this, my latest video, which is all about helping you speak more naturally in English. In order to help you do that, we're going to look at things like phrasal verbs, idioms, collocations, and some less common words. These videos are especially useful for anybody taking English tests, especially the IELTS exam, and they're good for anybody that wants to learn to speak English in a very natural way. So, a first IELTS type question. This is maybe a part 1 IELTS type question. What type of holiday do you prefer? Well, in my job I have a boss that does my head in. So for me it's really all about getting away from it all. So I need time to just completely chill out. And it's really for that reason that I like to go somewhere where I can just kick back and gain some peace of mind. I'm not overly fussy about the type of location. It could be a mountain resort or a beach one, for example, but it has to be pretty laid back and quiet. I like to do a lot of walking, a lot of swimming, and a lot of sunbathing. But above all, I like to have my nose in a really good book, as I'm an avid reader. Okay. So that's a sample answer to this question. What type of holiday do you prefer? I wonder if perhaps you were able to guess the meaning of some of these expressions like chill out, kick back, pretty laid back, etc. I don't know if you could. Let's have a look on the next slide and we'll see. So, to do someone's head in. This means to really annoy them or really stress them out, make them feel stressed. Getting away from it all. This means to take a good break from something by taking a holiday away from your home. Peace of mind. When you have peace of mind, you have a kind of calm feeling where you just don't really worry. To have your nose in a book means simply to be very focused on reading a book. You can imagine a nose, such as my big one, like this in a book. An avid reader. This is a collocation. It means that you are very keen on reading, that you do it a lot. So avid means very keen, and this word particularly collocates with the word reader. I am an avid reader. Then we have a couple of phrasal verbs, to chill out and to kick back, both of which mean to relax. So, we also have some less common words, such as overly. This means not too much. Fussy. A fussy person insists on being very specific about what they like. So you could be fussy about where you go on holiday. You could be a fussy eater, which means you would have very specific tastes in what you eat, for example. When we say pretty and we have another adjective following it, then in this context, pretty means the same thing as quite or quite a lot. So, he's a pretty fussy person would mean he is quite a fussy person. Whereas if we just say she is pretty and fussy, that means she looks nice, she looks attractive, and she's fussy. So you see there the difference, I think, between pretty and something, pretty and fussy, versus pretty fussy. If somebody is laid back, then they are a person who doesn't take things too seriously and doesn't get stressed very often. Okay, so let's have a look at another question, a typical IELTS Speaking Part 2 question in this case. Describe an interesting journey that you once took. Well, I'm a bit of a train enthusiast, so last year I finally decided to book myself a trip on the Siberian Express. I'd been umming and ahhing about this for quite some time, but then I finally took the plunge and committed to it. And it was a real treat. This was an amazing trip. The scenery was a joy to behold, and I met some fascinating people during the 9 days that I spent on the train. For example, there was this one guy who told me that he changed his job every single year. Something which sounds balmy, really. I mean, he opts to do something completely different every year. He told me that he's been a truck driver, a teacher, a gardener, a security guard, and even a professional poker player. I thought to myself that he was probably a jack of all trades and master of none, until he told me that he'd taken home 100 grand from a single poker tournament. Scenery-wise, I saw snow-capped mountains, verdant forests, and some shimmering lakes. So, let's have a look at the meaning of these terms. An enthusiast is somebody who really likes to do something. Balmy means the same thing as mad or a bit crazy. To opt is a verb that means the same thing as to choose. A grand is a slang word which means £1,000. So 3 grand, £3,000. 5 grand is £5,000, etc. Scenery-wise, when we attach the suffix wise, suffix means a word that goes on the end of another word. So when we attach the suffix wise, then what that means is that we mean in regard to the thing before the suffix. So scenery-wise means in regard to or talking about the scenery. If you were negotiating a salary for a new job, you might say, money-wise, what can I expect, for example. Snow-capped. Snow-capped means with snow on the top of the mountains. Verdant. Verdant means very green. So a verdant forest, a very green forest. Shimmering. If something is shimmering, then that means that light reflects off it. So these shimmering lakes, you had the light reflecting off the water on the surface of the lake. A real treat. This collocation means that something is very enjoyable. Umming and ahhing. This means to spend a lot of time trying to decide something. A joy to behold. That means that something is great to see. So in the example, I said the scenery was a joy to behold. So it meant that the scenery was great to see. To take the plunge means to make a decision after a period of umming and ahhing. And finally, a jack of all trades and master of none. This means to be quite good at several things, but excellent at absolutely nothing. So this is not a compliment if you describe somebody as a jack of all trades and a master of none. It's not a compliment. Okay, so I hope that this video was useful. Please feel free to rewind, etc. if you need to have another look at the examples. If you found the video useful, please do subscribe. There you will find a little button in the bottom right hand corner of this video that you can use to subscribe. I'd like to know what you think about the video as well, so if you have any questions or thoughts, questions about English, thoughts about the video, please post them in the comments section below this video. Equally, if there's a particular topic, perhaps to do with the IELTS exam, or maybe to do with English in general, that you would like to see me cover, then in a future video, then also please let me know in the comments below. Okay, so thank you and goodbye.